Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Debt Collection 101 here on R But You. We got a very special guest, Paul Greiner with Vidwheel. So we have a lot of clients in the collection space ask us about videos all the time. We do a lot of videos, they talk to us, so what better way to give them information than bring a video expert himself on the show.
Yes.
And we also have Johnny Huff. Just
Hello.
Started here, first video, go easy on him. He's doing great so far. But, so Paul, for anyone who doesn't know who you are, know about your company Vidwheel, can you give us a little bit background?
Yeah. Well, Vidwheel is what we call an end-to-end video agency, and basically what that means, besides being a really bad cliche and jargon terminology, is while there are a lot of people who do video production, and most of us who have phones in our pockets, a lot of people think we're videographers to start with, we work with companies start to finish. So we want to help plan things, we want to help put the strategy in place so that the video that gets produced actually works. And then not only do we produce video, but we also will help distribute it. So if it's marketing video, we'll help put it out, we'll optimize it. If it's recruiting, we'll build it into their internal system, like that. So that's our position in the video world. And I do business development, which means I handle all new inbound new business, generate new business. I help Neil, who's the company owner, plan out the marketing strategies. I'm responsible for our LinkedIn marketing and presence, which is mainly where we focus things because we're B2B. And then whatever else needs to get done around the place to keep the business moving forward, I do.
Awesome.
That is great.
Thank you. I appreciate your validation.
We recently discovered in a Cisco report that about 82% of all consumer web-based traffic will be on video this year. I wanted to see if, what was your input on that? What do you think about it? Do you think it's accurate? And why so?
I think Cisco gets ahead of themselves sometimes. I think that 82% they've been tracking, I think the original was 2018, and they kind of bump it forward year by year. But certainly, regardless of what their specific numbers are and where it's coming from, large amounts of internet traffic are video. When people are going online more and more and more, right, they're looking at things instead of wanting to read things. I think the numbers are 70% in the poll I saw would prefer to watch a video, even on a product, than read a product description. So anywhere where people used to be reading, they'll be starting to watch video. I think in 10 years, video will be like the behind thing, and then augmented reality, VR, all those kinds of things, and video will be the text of today. But right now, it's moving from text to video because that's what people can consume most easily.
So you think this is inserting a little special question here, but you guys aren't doing videos for collection agencies now, right? Like you don't handle video for collection agencies?
No, I mean we've done some, but we don't have any ongoing.
But there's so I think there's this, there's probably a translation, like a lot of businesses that are in these industries, like maybe collections or, industries that people don't necessarily care about. That's not flashy, it's not super hot and trendy, right? How do you do video in that industry? Because I'm sure you've worked with different, businesses maybe that fit that persona.
There are certain, and I think sometimes those are the best places to do video in, because not only, in collections, right, not only is it not sexy, but then there's some bad rep.
Right.
There's, collections done poorly, there's the collection houses that have been using other people's information and old lists,
right.
And, so all that kind of rep, you can really do a lot with video to show a different side, which is video versus other kinds of content, it's show versus tell, right? So instead of telling the story in a website that says, no, really, you can trust us,
right?
Sure we can, but to be able to see it on video, so you can put something that's compelling, so people can see even the people who are in the company, right? And humans run on faces. We are wired up for we're very face centric. So being able to see someone else's face and being able to read, in the back of the brain, mirror neurons is a thing where you can read even without knowing it, what someone else's intentions are, something showing up. That's the power of video, where you can build trust unlike any other medium. And if you're in an industry where there's a very low level of trust in what you do, then I think that's the best medium.
Yeah, I agree. That's super important for agencies to be trusted. That's a huge thing now.
Yeah.
So. With that being said, so video can be overwhelming, I think. A lot of people, ourselves included, when we first started, it's like, we made it too complicated, I think. So is there like a starter kit or anything you'd recommend to people like that are just getting into it?
Yeah, if you're getting into it, and if you're getting into it for yourself, right? So you want to start DIY because you don't want to break the bank,
Right.
Figuring out what works and what doesn't. I mean, literally, there are starter kits on Amazon, right? So that's the cheap, the simple example. You can go
Right.
on and get sets where it comes with a camera, $400 or $500, and you got a camera, you got the tripod. Some of them even have soft boxes, so lighting, where you can diffuse the lighting a little more. It's got some of that stuff, a decent mic in it. Usually not the best equipment, but if you're trying something out for a little while, then $500 plus time is not a bad way to do it.
Right.
And honestly, even less than that, depending on the kind of video. I'm a strategy freak, so the answer to everything is like depending on what are you trying to accomplish and why are you doing it.
Right.
If you're doing something where you're okay with a more DIY kind of gritty, let's call it, kind of feel, get a tiny little tripod for your camera and your phone and set it up somewhere, get yourself a fun location, a decent thing, and
Right.
just start there and start trying to create some content that you think will be valuable. And it's just like all marketing and all content, you just start putting it out and see what sticks, right? And then just keep going in more and more what sticks, and if it works well enough and you get some traction and you want to kind of upgrade from there, and you're not wasting your time or money.
Awesome.
What are some good starter topics for someone that's going into video? Like, they have a business, they're trying to figure out how to get their name out there, but what's some of the key things that you should probably focus on that's most effective in video?
Yeah, well, I think that's, again, there's it depends on your business, because your topics will be different for
Right.
your clientele and your business, but there are certain kinds of content, like the videos that you can roll out at first. One is the about us kind of thing, right? So tell your story, the overview, our secret, here's some real inside tips. We always love to do overview videos. Let's say they're going to be 2 to 3 minutes. We script it so that you can chunk out like 2 or 3 different parts in it, so you can pull out kind of an elevator pitch, why what we do matters, and then why us versus our competition, and have it naturally flow. So you have 3 minutes, and then you have 3 other 1-minute videos. But then some of the other places to start certainly are explainers. So if there's concepts or a philosophy behind what you do, if you want to explain how your product works or how your service goes, you can do explainers, and all-time favorite, certainly, testimonials. Obviously, social proof in marketing, it's a big thing. We're talking about trust. No better way to do a testimonial than having someone on video. We always recommend interview-based, like the whole giving people who aren't professional actors scripts to follow and expect it to come across authentic. Well, it's not authentic, so it can't come across that way. But knowing how to script a good interview and then being able to pull it out and then taking those cuts so that people can see the face and hear the intonation of someone telling a real story about how well what you do works. Like those are my favorite. You need the other stuff so people know what you do in general, but nothing gets more traction and attention and willing decision making than really well done testimonial videos.
So kind of going off of that a little bit, this is something we've struggled with here even, and I can imagine collection agencies would struggle more, is getting people involved in doing that video, whether it's internal staff or a client to do that testimonial. People don't like to be on camera. People are self-conscious. And Johnny loves it right now.
Yes, soaking it up.
But there's people here that hate it for sure. Emily knows. And I can imagine, we try to get video testimonials from our clients and collection agencies, I can imagine the collectors and them won't want to be on camera, and you've probably dealt with other industries where that's similar.
Yes.
So how do you kind of overcome that?
Yeah, well, in some places they won't and they never will. Some places what they do has a certain level of confidentiality or how you work together, so it's going to be a little bit awkward. But for the most part, and especially so we do it even when we're doing it for ourselves, hopefully you have a kind of relationship where they're comfortable, right? Yeah. And so they've had a good experience, they're comfortable with you, and they trust that, of course, we are the people doing the video, so they trust that when they sit down, it's not going to be some weird situation, and we're going to come at them differently. So there's a level of trust that works. One of the things we've recommended for folks who want to do more testimonials is also giving a little something. So almost how photographers shoot up headshot days, and you come through and you kind of like marathon through shots. We've recommended and had customers do testimonial days where you could bring some people in, for example, give everyone lunch before or after their shoot or during, and while lunch is happening, then people go for 15 minutes a pop over here to the section, run through a very easy going, right? They're eating, they're relaxed, everyone's like creating an environment where people feel a little more relaxed. Goes a long way toward, it's better than just like, hey, we want to market ourselves, will you talk about how great we are, and hey, you get to be on camera, and hopefully everyone will see, so, and if people have more extroverted people, if you've worked with the whole team, there are some folks like don't want it, and for the effectiveness of your video shouldn't be on it for that reason, and then other people are going to be more prone to do it. So I say always go for where the interest is. And employees, besides like, well, you have to because we're telling you to. Maybe that's not the approach you want to take around here or anywhere. But we always found that if you're doing it like a team bio or like almost like a shout out, right? We want to say, hey, you're doing a great job, and if you're not going to be here forever, you have a video for your personal brand, right? Because you've got this, hey, here's you, here's what I do, here's what I contribute, here's what our write does. It's so great. And also, we have people find ways to work employees into other kinds of content. So we just did, ACV Auctions is one of our more prominent clients, and we did it's non-marketing, a recruiting interviewing video. They have a platform where they send applicants who make it past a certain point a link. They jump on this page. There's a video there with a question on it. They watch it. They record their own video answer, and that goes in. Very efficient for recruiting. Puts a lot of people off, right? They don't. But again, if you're in an outside a customer service or a people-facing role, and you're uncomfortable with providing a video answer, you've deselected. But we used actual VCIs, their employees, their vehicle condition inspectors. So instead of some HR talking head, like, here's a question, what would you do in this scenario? We went out and we got the employees themselves, and here's the guy wheeling out from underneath a car saying like, hey, so a lot of this goes into our work. How do you see yourself? And we shoot it a few times so it sounds natural. They didn't deliver an exact script, but that's what we wanted. So even with recruiting, it's not we're the best company ever, rah-rah stuff only. It's we engage the employees in being able to bring in new employees in a way that made sense for them. Not everyone wanted to, but enough people did where we had no problem setting it up.
Yeah, you don't need you don't need 100% of people, and it's fine.
No, not even close. And even some of the people that want to might not be the best, and so we got a whole bunch of shots with a whole bunch of different people, and then we brought it down and found the best ones.
Awesome.
It's got to be fun cutting people out.
Yeah, yes.
Sorry you didn't make it.
Sorry you got cut out.
I really wish you could have, but yeah.
That's a lot of great insight in regards to, like someone developing a plan. Like you said, it depends on what their goal, purpose, and intention is and their strategy. What's something else that you probably would think of, like if someone was to reach out and their strategy is like, we want to do video. We don't know exactly how we're going to do it or get started, but I know that was a lot of insight on the strategy and plan. But what's some other advice you would do for someone that's just kicking their tires on that idea, who's looking to venture out? Yeah,
well, the first thing is to make sure you actually have the plan, which you probably should have already, right? So if you have a marketing plan, you know what you're wanting to do already, at least you know what you're trying to accomplish for the year, let's say. Video is a form of communication. So there are things it can do uniquely, but it can also replace any other kind of communication you would do. So sometimes, small business especially, they don't have plans often. They're like, we'd like more business is our goal for this year. So which is why we offer like strategy packages on their own and stuff to make sure like, okay, you're set up, if this is going to work or not. But setting up the plan, and then sometimes it's as easy as just replacing content you're already doing and adding video into it. So blog posts, for example, Inbound has been all about blogging for 5 years or so, and less so these days. But so if you have good, still relevant blog content, shoot a video of that. right? Add to it, make it a little more succinct, but it gives other people a chance to consume it and reach it. But also both, if you put it right in that post on your web page, that'll jack up your SEO. It creates better dwell time, and people then have an option. Oh, do I read this thing or do I watch this video? Depending on your scenario and if it's subtitled and all that kind of stuff, you give people 4 or 5 different ways to get the message you're putting out. And that always works. So people who are struggling with strategy, which is a thing with video, because it's new enough where, I know some of the big ad agencies around here kind of drop the ball when it comes to telling people what they could do with video. Like give us $5,000 and then we'll start figuring it out and talking about it kind of routine. And we've been able to come in there and say, hey, X, Y, and Z, and then get that business. Because we know here's the best way to do it. Here's how you want to match your videos to your own sales funnel or buyer's journey, whatever terminology you want to be using. But knowing here's the content that reaches people at these different stages of where they are, swaps them out and do some video versions. Try versions of what already works with other content with video. And then, I don't want to guarantee, but most likely it's going to get as good or better traction. And then start to play with more unique, new stuff.
Awesome. Well, for anyone watching that is interested in getting started with video, now you know. Mm-hmm. So, how can people get a hold of you? A lot of people have asked us, so if you can,
vidwheel.com. Here's another part of your starter kit. If you go to vidwheel.com /small biz, we have the definitive guide to video marketing for small businesses. Awesome. So along with your equipment, there's a big guide you can go through as far as scripting, strategy, get yourself set up. And if you have any more questions, you can hit us right through the website.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Johnny.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. See you next week.